recording.
Ha!
Greetings, Jeff.
Greetings.
And we gotta hit the button. Yeah, okay, hit the button.
Hit the button. Hit the button.
I've pressed the button.
Oh, boy. Uh-oh. That means we've started the episode.
The fun has begun.
The fun has begun. It is episode 176. Oh, we're past 175. Wow.
We are, yes. We're the next number after that.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
That's impressive. Did you see? So apparently Madonna put some risque photos on Instagram, and apparently, like, there's a whole bunch of Gen Z people being like, put your clothes back on.
Well, then Instagram, I think they blurred the nipples or
Did they?
edited it. I'm not sure. Speaking of blurred nipples, hi, Ivan.
Hi, Ivan.
He's muted.
I'm blurred nipples.
Blurred nipples. We've already got our episode title this week.
Maybe. I guess 50 Cent went after her too about this, but like seriously, it's like let's traumatize Gen Z a little bit more. Let's like show them that sex book Madonna wrote created in the 90s.
Isn't she like she's in her 60s, right?
Yeah. I think they said she's like 63. I mean, I get it.
Does that make her a GILF, I guess?
Yeah, I guess it does, doesn't it?
Madonna the GILF.
Yeah, I guess so. I hadn't thought about it that way.
I'm getting old.
Yeah.
We're all getting old.
Well, it's like, I just think it'd be funny because it's like, okay, have you seen this thing called Sex by Madonna as in this book? And I think we should give it to all these Gen Z people and watch them, like, their heads explode because it's like, you know.
Remember that book was just so stretching the boundaries. Now it's
I still don't understand what the one.
Yeah.
I still don't understand what the one picture was. I can't remember if she's in it with Big Daddy Kane or if it's just her. And then there's like a dog laying like on its back, up like on its back, just laying there. And it's like, what's with the dog?
It's all for shock value.
Well,
and that's what Madonna was all about.
Yeah.
Madonna was all about stretching the boundaries, shock value, seeing how far she could push the limits of, what she could do. That she's always been like that. She's a chameleon where she changes as often, as she did in her career.
And now she's got a British accent.
Well, yeah.
Because she's lived in Britain for like 2 years.
No, it's longer than 2. It's been a lot longer than 2.
It's been a lot longer than that. I mean,
But I do agree with you.
Well, it's just like what happened with Tina Turner. She ended up going there, and now she's got a British accent too.
Does she really?
Yes, she does.
How could you? See, that seems so strange. It's like, okay, so I moved to a country, and suddenly that would be like if I started living in New York, and suddenly I started talking like a New Yorker. That's insane.
Well,
there's no way that would happen. I mean, well, I guess
but it does.
Could.
It does.
Through osmosis or whatever.
Well, I don't know if it's osmosis as it's just being
speaking the language, I guess, the law of the land, or
you pretty much you pick it up. It's just like how a lot of people who want to learn Spanish and they watch the telenovelas. They watch the stories, and then they end up picking up their language, the Spanish language. And believe it or not, it does work. It does work because I did it.
My biggest complaint about those channels is that, when you go to the English channels, you can hit the button and it'll all go into Spanish, so you can learn. Like if you're watching English programming, you can learn. Like the Spanish people can learn English programming. Because they'll have the subtitles in Spanish, or they'll change it over to Spanish. My complaint is,
what's that?
When I go to like Telemundo, and I want to know what the hell's going on, there ain't no button that changes all that to English.
Yeah, Telemundo is like tough love, motherfucker. You got to
Yeah,
learn
seriously.
the
Well,
language.
it's not just Telemundo. It's like like all Spanish programming is like that. It's like it's like you're watching some of it sometimes, and you're literally like, what the hell is going on? I really want to know. It's like, I don't understand enough Spanish.
Especially all the sexy stuff, you know?
Right, well, or like, what was the name of, like, there was the one talk show host lady who, like, was like the big talk show host from, like...
Christina?
Is that the one who it was?
Yeah, that was Christina.
Like, the stuff that you would pass by, like, just seeing pass by, it's like, she made, like, Maury Povich, Jerry Springer, all those guys, like, combined look like a joke. Because, like, you'd see stuff and it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh, yeah,
it's like,
because they don't have the hang-ups where they filmed that, like everybody's got their hang-ups here. British television is the same way. German television is the same way. Television around the rest of the world, okay, like, it was like when we used to have Benny Hill imported, from to PBS, and then you see all the edits where they cut all this stuff up because they took so much of it out, and then years later, now you watch Benny Hill on uncut DVD, and you're like, "Oh, so that's what they meant by that." Because most of the jokes and most of the in stuff was cut out, or the nudity, or the breast shots, or the ass shots, and all the stuff that they did in Britain. Which
it's still
to them,
too
that's
risque, even for late night broadcast television.
Right. So, Japanese television is notorious for all manner of things as far as what they show on their television.
They're a bunch of perverts over there in Japan.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? I mean, when you can have a commercial of hundreds of babies all farting in the water and, they're advertising bath soap, and you're just like,
great.
Okay.
That's great.
What's the truth? I mean, I'm just...
No, that's awesome. We need to get off our prudish, like, Puritan asses and be done with this shit.
The only ones that'll never get it are the Armish, because, they have no electricity,
Yeah, no.
The Amish.
They'll never get any of it.
The Armish.
The Armish, I don't know.
The Armish blurred the nipples.
Blurred the Armish nipple.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah.
I love that song. Blurred the Armish nipple.
Oh, God.
Won't you watch it in the air? Look at the blindfold titties. They're flying everywhere. Look at
Thank you, Ivan. Well, so how are you doing?
As the tippies go on wide. And of course, they're so hard. You'll be really also blind. Okay, never mind.
I don't know. We didn't need to go that far, but okay.
Well, everybody else goes this far in this fucking show, but
No. We know where there's an edge, and it's like, that's the problem. It's like, we know just where.
The fun has just begun, though.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, I've never known that in all the time I've been entertaining and all this other stuff. What, me? Boundaries? Nah.
Yeah, you never got pulled.
I mean, come on, a man who's not for his parties and bullshit. Come on.
Yeah, you never got pulled into an office about possible FCC violations.
I never got pulled in. That's a joke, man.
Some of us wanted to keep a career in radio for a while.
This coming from the person who snored on the air and could have lost my job.
Story's not the same. Story's not the same as yelling. Story's not the same as yelling "God damn it" in the middle of a 30,000 watt FM.
Well, let me see. I blew a fart at Alpha Rock 106 back in the 80s. That was kind of crazy.
See, I've never understood. See, that's where I always laugh. It's like, okay, you farted on the radio. And it's like, some people are like, oh, that's disgusting. So what? That's not nearly as bad as some of the other things that can be done on a radio, but...
Well,
okay.
yeah, well, but then, pretty much like television is, terrestrial television is dying, and terrestrial radio is kind of, pretty much in the shitter now. And, with everything that's happening around us now with no boundaries on any of it. Of course, now even what used to be no man's land now is like, well, they're all trying to play catch up, and that's never going to happen,
Here's the thing about terrestrial radio. It's like, I keep sitting there and saying...
Testicle radio.
Well, here's the thing with terrestrial. I keep hearing people say, like, it's dead. It's gonna die. And the thing is, I've been hearing that now for about 20, 30 years. And it's not dead yet. I mean...
it's still... People still need local news.
Yeah, well, hold on a second, but we're not just talking about... Okay.
That's why WBBM is the highest rated program on Chicago radio, because it's news.
Yeah. Right, but there are a lot of... but outside of that, it's like, okay, I mean, I get, like, the sports radio stuff is localized and that kind of stuff, but, like, the music channel is still... I mean, I'm
Light FM is raking in the bucks this year,
right.
This month.
Well, of course, that's their cash cow. Yeah. Is what happens with that is their Christmas stuff. That's their cash cow. Of course, that's
well.
Are they the only Chicago radio station doing that?
I have no idea.
I don't know if it's 99.1 or one of the other ones.
In terms of 24/7, yes. I know that some of them will start to add in to their rotations and stuff, and they may have already started. It is an interesting question, Mike. Why hasn't someone sat there and said, "Hey, you know what?
Competition.
Let's do another station in town that does it 24/7." And the only thing I can think
only problem with that is there are only so many in rotation Christmas tunes you can play unless you jump out of the trend and include all of the stuff that we play.
Find a better playlist and do some more cash giveaways. I don't know.
Well, or take it a step further, find a your rates are lower than Light FM.
I mean that could be
lower advertising rates. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Lower advertising rates. Okay. Now, how do you get the attention of the people who want to do this type of radio 24/7 Christmas? I mean, that would drive anybody bonkers to sit there trying to do so many Christmas tunes. Okay, let's just say if they did the regular Christmas format, okay, that every motherfucking person has already heard forever, and then season in some of the stuff that we used to do over at Weave, the Christmas tunes you've never heard, the totally politically incorrect ones, the weird ones, the strange ones, the ones you're like, how the fuck did they ever record that?
See, now that would be interesting. That would be interesting if they ever did that. Like, if they legitimately did crazy formats. Like, there's is it Run DMC who does the rap one that's absolutely hysterically crazy funny?
Well, that's the early one from the 80s.
Yeah.
Right, that one went...
Christmas in Hollis, yeah.
That one.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Right, I think there's an Eazy-E one, too, like a Christmas Eazy-E song or something like that. But, yeah, I mean, that stuff never gets...
That never gets played.
That stuff really gets played.
There are millions of Christmas records, that were produced, since the advent of Christmas records, okay?
I mean, what if you did, like, a Demento Christmas hour in the late night or something like that? Like,
I mean, that would be good. There is an actual documentary. It's made by a friend of mine. His name is Dave, and
Hi, Dave.
Shout out to Dave.
He goes out to, makes this documentary about how he got started being probably one of the few collectors of records that does strictly Christmas records. I performed with him, and some of the stuff he's pulled out astonishes me. Okay. And I'm just like, and I thought I had probably one of the most eclectic Christmas catalogs at Moonsoul Music, it's just like, yeah, because we played it every year, almost every year when we were together at the radio station. So, I mean, I Fell Out of a Christmas Tree by Rita Faye. All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth by
that's Spike Jones.
Yeah, but that's is that not considered mainstream anymore? Is the Spike Jones album?
Well, it's in the novelty, but it's not the one you're going to hear like every 2 hours on Light FM.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Oh, Santa, how come your eyes are blue? Last year they were green by Louis Prima. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're never going to hear that on Light.
Well,
Is that song?
As it is, I kind of laugh because there's stuff that you don't hear on Light as it is that it's like there are some groups that have like done like legitimate Christmas music in the last 40 years, and it's like you only hear certain groups and certain people where they've done it, and that's why I kind of laugh. It's like this is why I always make fun of the Whamageddon thing. Is it's like it's one of the better Christmas songs, and yet it's not nearly on a high enough burn rotation for anybody to really get hit on the Whamageddon thing.
Well,
it's just
true.
not.
No, it isn't.
Not.
It isn't. I mean, do you ever hear? Do they think it's Christmas? I mean, that whole thing with that many years.
Yeah.
Do they know it's Christmas? Yeah. The was that Live Aid or no? It's Band Aid.
Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And do you hear that now? No, not really.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but not
here or there, but
rotation.
not like they should. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I mean. It's like this. The weird part about Christmas music is some of the better Christmas music in the last 40 years doesn't get played nearly enough, and yet with one exception, and we all know what that exception is.
Oh yeah, Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Somebody actually came up to me when I was doing my gig on Friday night and paid me a 20 spot and says, "All I want for Christmas is you" from Mariah Carey. All right, this while I'm playing Spanish music.
Doesn't matter.
Turn on the radio and wait 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and I'm just like looking at, and I told her, and I says, "Well, I'll give you some Christmas music, but unfortunately, that particular song was never pressed." So no, I don't.
No, I don't think they've ever put that to vinyl because it was out in '94.
Yeah.
So that would not be in the. They're making a little bit of vinyl, but I don't think they've.
You know what's really surprising? I'm surprised that nobody's tried to remix that song, considering how popular it is.
I think she remixed it for a second Christmas album.
Did she really? With somebody else, like a.
I don't know if it was a collaboration or whatever, but she did do a remix. I think.
Did you hear? Hey, did you guys hear this? I can't remember the guy's name, the DJ who it is. Did you hear this guy who's done this collaboration? It's he did, with Phil Collins, it's, whatchamacallit, In the Air Tonight, and he mixes it with, do you remember the Time by Michael Jackson? Oh, it's badass.
It's good. It's good in a good way, not bad in a good way, like Enter Sandman meets Hip to Be Square by Huey Lewis.
Oh, I gotta find that.
I love that.
I gotta find that. That's hysterical.
Yeah.
I gotta find that.
It's Enter Sandman, but it's the same cadence and melodies as Hip to Be Square. It's hilarious.
It's they almost turn it into a different song by just basically taking the riffs from the two songs, and it's pretty cool. I mean, the guy does. I was like, okay, I'm with this. This is good. This is a good mix. I like this.
Well, it was just like a group in Canada called Slingshot, and they mixed Billie Jean and Do It Again by Steely Dan together in one song, which I play that out quite a bit, and it brings people to the
floor.
Here,
let me find it, because I'll send it to you guys in the back chat.
Have you been whamming getting some of your Facebook friends, Jeff?
I have. I have. I know I've been getting a lot of crap about it. It's from a guy. It's from a guy named Sick Kick that says, and it's called "I Can Feel It."
Okay, that's fair enough.
Hold a second. I'm trying to.
By the way, guys, how am I sounding tonight?
You sound great.
Sound good. You sound good.
Great. Wonderful. I'm actually running through the board now, and I'll
send you guys this back chat.
Through the board. It's great.
Yeah, put it in the group chat. I'll do it later.
And then we can also listen later on to the J Nuts Snowman Sweet Potato Nose. Or
say what?
Or we could listen to the J Nuts with Man, Sweet Potato Nose.
Sweet Potato Nose.
You think I'm kidding, right?
No, I'm not. I don't think you're kidding at all. That's the part that scares me.
Okay, well, can I be allowed to play a dabble of it or no?
We're not. Well, our video is not monetized anyway, so give us a few seconds of it.
Here we go. Coming at you. Here are the J-Nuts and Snowman, Sweet Potato Nose.
This on 8-track? Sounds like the Monkees.
It sounds like Monty Python. Oh, good Lord.
Okay, that's enough, Ivan. Thank you.
Yeah, that's more than enough.
That's a little sounds too much like every other song from that era. It's a little cookie cutter.
Yeah, I know. Not only that, that's actually done on the original Sally Go Round the Roses bed. They just wiped the vocals clean, and then they put this Snowman, Sweet Potato Nose in for Christmas. Okay, then of course you got the Little Boy That Santa Claus Forgot by Nat King Cole. That says
I was at a talking to a coworker last week, and he said, "Yeah, I'm breaking out my record player. I've got my Nat King Cole." I'm like, "No, not the Christmas song by Nat King Cole. That one's done to death." And he's like, "Nah." But Nat King Cole did do a few other songs that are notable, but that's the problem is that the only one they play is the Christmas song.
Yeah,
okay,
well,
it's like Elvis. They only play Blue Christmas on the radio.
Right, which he has quite a few more Christmas tunes. Or, here it is. When you think of Burl Ives, everybody gravitates to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Or Holly Jolly Christmas.
Right, which, he did do others. I mean, he did do Santa Mouse on Columbia and several other things on Decca, and then here it is. Here's a Christmas title you don't hear too much. The Stingiest Man in Town by the Four Lads, which it talks about Scrooge.
Did they blur his nipples?
Yeah, they're sitting there smearing the Armish.
That's an entirely different song. That's that one by Robin Thicke. Wait, no, that's
Blurred Lines.
Wait, that's Blurred Lines. My bad.
Yeah, Blurred Lines.
So anyway, how was everyone's week?
By the way, you sitting there talking about Enter Sandman and Hip to Be Square.
Yeah.
Now all I can think about is I heard a remix of I can't remember what Eminem song it was, and it was at the time back when Eminem was not friendly with Britney Spears, and they used "Oops, I Did It Again" as the music track underneath and redid the track with his vocals. And I'm like, that's just so mean and so wrong on so many levels.
You know what's crazy, mean, and nuts is when people put out Christmas records like this one here.
This one where, Ivan? We can't see. We're in radio.
We're in the air.
Let me finish my statement. Thank you. Okay, and here it is. I got a picture sleeve that features a young girl in the front of the cover, and then there's a picture of Santa Claus in his underwear, and saying "Poor old Santa Claus" was this the title of this cut, and then they got the caption over old Sally G, St. Nick saying, "Man, like I ain't got no clothes," and the kid on the side in the cut in is saying "Poor old Santa Claus." I'm thinking this doesn't say weird.
Yeah, it says child molester.
Yeah, exactly. Jerry Ryan's America's New Sweetheart on MPI Records. I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know. I don't know. So, Mike, what you been up to? I saw you were gaming the other night.
Yeah, you were gaming.
Saturday night was game night. Yeah, we played this one. Kevin's had this for a couple months. No, it's a couple of years, actually. It was last year, I think. The Conquest of Planet Earth, where it's like the 50s alien invasion kind of backdrop, where you play the aliens and you're trying to defeat the humans, but as the longer the game progresses, it becomes harder to defeat them because they gain new technologies and whatever. But we got our asses handed to us by the humans, so there is still hope for the human race against us three gamers. And then I finally got my, from Renegade Studios, the Transformers deck building game, and we played that. And that was lots of fun. And although I did get my core game set, but my promo box didn't come with it. It's coming, maybe eventually, I don't know when, but there's supposed to come with a free promo. It didn't because there was some ransomware attack with Diamond or something back in October or November or something. So they sent me an email saying, yeah, we sent your item, but we didn't give you shipping notice, so it'll get there when it gets there. I'm like, okay. And 2 days later it arrived at my door. But anyway, the Transformers deck building game is fun. Did that. That was fun. Did a bit of shopping. I go to this one store every year. Mm-hmm. And I only go in this one store once a year. And I looked for the one thing. It was the World Market. I can't say what it is in case the listeners listening, the particular person. But I'm looking for a certain thing. And, of course, I have no idea where it is because they've rearranged the place in the year that I've been gone.
So, yeah, God forbid they do that, Mike.
They rearrange the place.
Oh no! Why would they do such
How am I going to find the thing that I'm looking for? I guess I'm going to ask for help, but I'm a man. I can't do that. Got a lot of my decorating done. About 90%.
Why can't you ask?
I'm a man.
What does that have anything to do with it?
We don't ask for directions.
I did go wrong.
I don't ask for directions.
But this isn't directions. This is the store.
Locate
None of
the
us
thing.
want to be.
It's more fun to look, I guess.
Is it?
Well, I did find it. It was close to where I thought it was last time. So I did find it.
See, for me, I go to the store. It's I want to get in. I want to get out.
Yeah,
I want to be done.
But when there's no one on the sales floor, I got to walk all the way back up front.
Oh, okay. That's different.
Yeah, no one was walking around.
Oh, okay.
So just me alone in the aisles, going through each one methodically, trying to find the one thing. But I did find it eventually.
That's when you should find one of those phones and be you start being la 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 la, because they'll come find you. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
I got for Christmas.
Did they have those? Did they have those white phones or anything, or no?
It is.
I'll pick up the white courtesy phone. Well, I wouldn't know what to dial to go over the PA.
I know Walmart still has those or those big stores. Some of those big stores still have those phones.
And former employees who know the code, they'll put the code in and then they'll fart on the receiver and hang it back up.
Oh,
we used to do that when we worked at the phone company back in the day.
Okay.
I bought yes, that is the sound of a fart, Ivan. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
Howdy ho.
I bought my Spider-Man tickets.
Did you?
Yep. Going Friday night, the 17th. Going to go see the Spider-Man. Be the first time in the theater in 21 months.
I haven't figured out what my plan is with that yet.
Get a spider plan. Jeffrey needs a big spider plan.
Well, I mean, my
spider plan. Get your tickets if you can.
I just don't want to be in a theater with a shitload of people.
Oh, there'd be a shitload of people. When I bought my tickets on Fandango, the theater was about 75% full, but I'd still get a pretty good seat.
The only thing I can think is the headache is when are the kiddies getting out of school? Is it by the 7th? I don't think it's if I try to go. I think it is
Friday the 17th.
If I could get away with locally here, some of the theaters around here have a 10 a.m. showing or something like that. I might be able to pull that off. I might be able to get in. There might not be anybody there. After that, it's going to be a mess. I just know
it's going to be a clusterfuck. I mean, that's
crowded.
Families and holidays.
And there's this other movie coming out with Bradley Cooper that same weekend. I forget the name of it, but it looks like some kind of thriller. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got some news about a movie release. So when we get into more movies later on, I can bring it out. In a conversation.
Yeah, but my decorating's done, and work was crazy. Like Saturday night, I had to work, and man, you'd think Christmas lights were made of gold because everyone's buying the Christmas lights up. And I was helping somebody, and one lady turns a corner, and she's all like, "Is this all the Christmas lights you have?" It's like, "Well, yeah." It's like, "I've been going everywhere. I went this, I went that." I'm like, "They're floating on boats. They're not here. We'll have more next year."
You should have said to her, "No, I have some secret ones in the back."
And she'll still be standing there hours later waiting for them.
I know.
Yes,
That's so mean.
Because working in retail means in the back is the magical place where there's infinite levels of everything. So.
Yes.
Well, my favorite is just you could probably like lock her in the back of the store for hours, being like, "Is he gonna come with that Christmas lights?"
Well, that's.
Let's go. I'll go look for him, and I go upstairs. I go up on break.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Excuse me. I told a young man that I was looking for Christmas lights. Well, what did the young man look like? Well, I've been here so long, I forgot.
Yeah.
No, that's the one time they'll remember, because that's the only time they remember.
Isn't that the fate of it?
Well, then maybe catch us a Sunday matinee or something for Spider-Man and Jeff.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like I said, I'm thinking early.
It'll be on a bunch of screens.
Right.
There you go.
I'm thinking
have one for yourself there, Jeff.
I think that's the plan. Like I said, knowing my luck, though, it's going to be like, okay, I'm going to go in the morning.
I'm going to go alone.
Well, you know what? I am. I don't, it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, you want to go alone. Sometimes, you know what? In this case, yeah, I am. I don't want to have to figure out. Because here's the problem.
I don't want to walk around people. I do not want to listen to nobody talking. I want to listen to the movie.
You know what else? Then I got to worry about what time they're available.
Right.
I don't give a shit what time you're available.
Well, the tickets are up. They're pre-sale. We, of course, when they went up on Monday, they broke Fandango.
Fandango got torn down because
the site crashed.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, broke more pre-sale records or whatever. So
amazing.
Yeah.
So I'll be my first theater outing.
Theater experience.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if maybe I'll get my nachos. I'd like my nachos.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm trying to figure out.
Logan Theater makes great nachos. They're so fresh.
They make them there?
They make them there.
Really?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, they do. They make them there.
Because, like, the ones I get, because, of course, Regal's, is a major chain, because they just give you a tray with the hot cheese, and then they give you a bag of nachos you got to open yourself.
No,
right. AMC kind of does that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but at Logan, what they do is, since they're so close to remember, I'm in an artisan's area, so everything is like there. Next door to the theater, maybe not next door, maybe a couple doors down, they get their nachos from the Mexican restaurant fresh, and they bring them over.
Oh.
See, and then those are the nachos you get over at Logan, and those are like hot and fresh. If you get them on the matinee, they're still warm, and they're delicious. And the cheese is amazing. It's not that I don't know what kind of other cheese that they use it, but it's like smooth, and it's hot. It's just wow, it's fantastic. Our popcorn is really good too. So yeah, I'm bringing out my theater with 3 screens over here, the one that's been there since 1915. But yeah, it's a great little theater. And so, and the chairs are comfy, the sound system is good. It used to be one large theater once upon a time because it used to be one of the few CinemaScope theaters that was in Chicago until later on they split it into 3 screens.
Yeah, our local theater was like that too. And now next year, our local theater in town here is closing next year. They're going to focus more on live events because the fact that some studios put out their movies on streaming at the same time is that they say that's what they're blaming it on, but I think they just want to focus more on live events and maybe just do something different than trying to compete with the big chain theaters.
Well, and I think a lot of the 1, 2, and 3 screen theaters are leaning towards that.
Yeah, they got hurt the most with with
anything on the small business spectrum has gotten hurt in the last couple of years with everything that's going on. Are you okay, Jeff?
I'm fine.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh no, I just like somebody's breathing kind of hard. I was like, "You all right?"
I was just his mic picked up. Are those nipples blurred? I don't think so.
And the Armish nipples are blurred.
Armish.
You know what theater just recently did that was Mike won't know it, but the Expanse Theater basically just turned itself into a
venue.
An event venue like that, and
just focused on like stand up or live acts or
like live music and a whole bunch of stuff. So
they're all following a lot of these theaters. These 1-2 screen theaters are now following the example of Ron Ernesti, because in St. Charles, he's got his theater out there.
Yeah, is that the Akada?
The Akada.
Okay, is that Akada? Let's call the whole thing off.
Well, it's the Arcada. Yeah, Ron Ernesti, he's made a gold mine out of that theater that used to run movies. Now he's getting all the older name acts that everybody's familiar with, and that's just blown up for him. In fact, from all the revenue he's gotten, he was able to open up a restaurant called the Roaring Twenties. It's really quite the venue from the pictures I've seen. I'd like to visit it someday. And it's not far from the Bluebird Cafe in the Aurora Hotel, which that's another place.
I think that's the same group that is actually doing the Expanse Theater.
Yes, I think you're right. Because
they are part of a group, and it sounds like that, and it's really similar sounding in terms of what they did in terms of their development. And right. I do know that they're related to that, to a group out that way somewhere. So it's the same. It's the same group. It's just different stuff.
With different venues. Right, because what they did with the Bluebird Cafe was they decided to bring it back home, because Lester Melrose used the hotel, the Melrose Hotel, for all of his recording of the Bluebird Bluesmen back in the day. And, a lot of emphasis now, since they've opened up the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now, and now it's getting a lot more attention, and, towards that whole history of Chicago music, which it's been long in coming. But you're right about the fact that that could be run by the same people that were doing the Expanse Theater, and that associated with that whole situation. It's really cool. I've seen pictures of it. And
my mom's going there. She's going to who's coming there on Saturday? Johnny Mathis.
Oh, there you go. And
I think it's Johnny Mathis. Actually, wait, no, maybe that's not what she went to. I can't remember where she's going to go see him. I don't know if that's the Rosemont Theater or the.
What? No, Harry Belafonte.
That's not really her thing. But okay.
All right.
That's not really her thing, but.
Matilda.
What's scary is that some of the bands that we think about are like not oldies bands are going to start ending up in places like that, and we're going to be like, okay, I guess.
Well, Jim Peterick with his Happy Ides of March 38 special self is out there still doing his groovy thing. In fact, I was on the internets on Facebook watching people filming his performance over the weekend, and pretty wild when you got a guy who you've seen forever, and he's out there now with purple hair. Like you're trying to fit into the whole mold of the 20 and 30-year-old millennial situation. I said, dude, nah, okay. Your songs are great. You're a great writer and everything. Yeah, don't try to, emulate something that is too far ahead of you there. You know what I'm saying?
How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah.
It's like Steve Buscemi with the skateboard.
I feel like I've seen... It's funny you say that. I can't remember what he's pitching, but I've seen it on social media where like Rick Springfield, and they're playing Jesse's Girl underneath, and he's pitching, I want to say he's pitching Medicare.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's geriatric, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Well, okay, right up there with Jimmy J.J. Walker, right up there with with.
I saw that the other day too.
Okay, I also saw the one by. Oh my God, George Foreman. I seen the one from George Foreman.
Yeah, but George Foreman's a little bit older, and I get it. It's like some of these people are like, ugh. But
with your patented design, the grease drains directly into my mouth with your new grill.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, when you go ahead and you call the Medicare Health Line, it's free. They all the same dialogue, just all these different people. Mike Ditka was another one I saw. If he's not doing that, he's doing, the car commercials, the insurance people,
There's a guy who...
With a general?
No, not the general.
That's Shaq. Shaq does the general.
Shaq does the general. Which you've noticed they redesigned those after administration changes. You've noticed that the general is not front and center anymore. He's kind of like this little silhouette at the end of the commercial.
He's like a little CGI guy, yeah. It's not the goofy bird suit either.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like the guy. He doesn't look like the guy from Rocky and Bullwinkle anymore.
You're right about that.
But who's going to do the commercial though for Joe's Barbecue and Foot Massage though?
Joe's Barbecue and Foot Massage. Joe's
Barbecue and Foot Massage. So that was my week. So Jeff, how was you this Hanukkah?
How was
Happy
your
Hanukkah.
Week?
How was my week?
How was Happy Chanukah?
How was Chappy Chanukah? I'm trying to think about what I did this past week. Did I do anything this past week? Not that much this week. It's been it's been a little bit on the slow side. I did catch some TV stuff. Like, it's so funny, Mike. I told you I was like, I'm not gonna watch La Brea. And then it became,
I'm gonna finish La Brea.
Then it became, I'll record it and then I'll watch it all later. And then it became, I'm gonna watch it every week.
What pulled you back in? Just 1 hour, 1 out. They pull me back in.
The pacing was better than I thought it was gonna be. And, unlike your usual, because all these are usually kind of feeling like they're based on Lost, and it's like, here's the answer, but the answer is going to open up 50,000 more questions, and so the answer doesn't feel like an answer anymore. They don't really do that. I mean, they actually answer questions. There are other questions, but it feels like the answers are far more definitive. And the biggest headache I would say about it is the name is that whoever chose the name was just an idiot.
Well, chose La Brea because it's like a tar pit. It's about a tar pit,
right? Or a sinkhole, and it's like that's not what it's about at all. That's not what it's about at all. And
I think maybe Jeff. Maybe they just named it that because they knew there were people like us out here saying, what the fuck were you guys thinking? It caught your attention. I think it did the job.
Well, no, I mean, look, I'm one of those people where, for the most part, I'm going to give, unless it's something I really, really am not interested in,
give it a fair
I'm
shake.
I'm going to give it a fair shake, and I'm going to watch it. And usually I have a pretty good feel on shows where it's like, either it'll take an episode or two. It may take one episode. It could take a couple of episodes. Like, there's a couple things where literally I'm like, within an episode or two, I was like, no, I'm done. Mm-hmm. This is it. I don't need to watch this anymore. This isn't doing it for me. This isn't something I'm interested in.
You're just like a lot of those disc jockeys that if the record if the song doesn't kick in less than 15 seconds, they're not about it. Yeah. No, not now. No, well, yes and no. Because I'll give something a full episode. I'll give something 2 episodes. If it's not, again, it depends on what it is and how, and if it's good or how bad it is. If it's really bad, and I'm like, this is not my cup of tea. I'm like, no, thank you. Yeah, exactly.
but I'll give other things like 2 episodes, and it's like 2 or 3 episodes, and it's like there was one that's out there right now that's on NBC, this Ordinary Joe thing. My mom loves it, and it's like, it's funny because it's like, it should be interesting because it has alternate timeline concepts in it. It's like, I just after a while, like after a couple episodes, I was like, no thanks, I'm done. This isn't doing it for me. I don't feel like having to remember which one's which and which one's what and how this all works and figuring out your timelines and why I should care. And I'm like, I was just, it's quite all right. I'm not doing that.
Interesting.
But La Brere's got you. Are they still airing new episodes?
It's the hook that brought you back.
They actually finished. They finished out season 1 already. So it's, and I think all of season 1 is now available on Peacock. And
you coming back for season 2?
Yeah, I'll check it out for season 2. I think they've done enough for me on season 2 that it's going to be a while anyway because they got to go and film and a whole bunch of shit. But they've done enough to make me interested enough. Sure. I'm trying to think of anything else I've been up to or doing or.
Well, I saw your post today about a certain Clubhouse conversation.
Oh yeah, there's that. Well, okay, let's go back to something else first. I did do something this past week. Okay. I apparently pissed off a whole shitload of people calling the Beatles overrated.
Yeah, I saw that thread.
Overrated.
I saw that thread. Yeah.
I had one guy.
That was great.
Absolutely fucking lost his mind. Absolutely lost his mind.
You had me fucking laughing. It was hysterical how you just plowed that out there, and everybody took it, and so many people took a shit. It was so cool.
And the best part is, like, the interesting part was there were some good conversations in there too, like, about the fact that like we talked about the other week, like how much the Beatles culturally appropriated from black artists. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Rock and roll is just the blues sped up. We know this.
Well, and the interesting part was, depending on who saw those answers, some white people got very, very butthurt.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry that the fucking Beatles went ahead, and yes, I did say the fucking Beatles. Their first 3 albums are loaded with songs.
Yeah, they're covers.
Yeah, they're just loaded with covers from Muddy Waters, from Chuck Berry.
Yeah, they love those artists. Those are songs they all played at the Cavern in the 50s.
Right,
and
exactly. And Buddy Holly, was George Harrison's favorite. Yeah, and I get it there, Jeff. I do get where you're coming from with this whole thing. Yeah.
Well, other thing is, here's the other thing, and this is the part. See, Ivan, you're a little bit older than Mike and I, so I don't know how much you. Yeah, well, I was.
Well, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
I was trying. Wow. I was trying to be nice. Mike just goes for the jugular. Okay.
No. Mike, when he bites hard.
Technically, over a decade, yes.
I was trying to be nice. It's like, damn. Okay, well.
That's okay.
But, the point being is like, I always. It's like, literally, I have grown up. And I think I'm sure Mike has run into this too, where literally it's like, you could, like, we grew up in the 80s. It's like, oh, there's some amazing music. This is some of the greatest music ever. It's not better than the Beatles.
Well, you're gonna get that. Believe it or not, you're gonna get that argument. Okay, because you also have to keep in mind, just like I did in my statement to your thread. Mm-hmm. Okay, a lot of people, it's Chicago. Okay, I'm going to just bring it to here for a moment.
Yeah, but a lot of those people weren't Chicago.
No, they weren't Chicago, but see, they also don't know the Chicago connection and history to it. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's the point of it. Okay, a lot of people, the common person does not know that the Beatles records, the first 12 songs, 11 of them came to Chicago. 1 went to Philadelphia for who knows what the fuck was that about? She Loves You. And,
Dick Clark.
And that, it was Dick Clark. And, basically, there's a big story behind that, but for another day. But as far as the first 11 songs, they came here to VJ, a black rhythm and blues and soul label in 1963. Okay? Mm. And why that happened was because, the Beatles before in different combinations of the band, going back to history, for a couple of seconds. And yeah, and being on VJ was not their first out. They were with Tony Sheridan. Tony who? Tony Sheridan in Germany when they were working places like the Cavern, the Indra, and all of these, places where prostitution was, legal, and these hole in the walls. They were literally brothels that the Beatles were playing in, along with Stu Sutcliffe, who was more artisan than player. Okay, but the point of the matter being is, they had their records recorded, and okay, Decca turned them down flat. Okay, said, no fucking way, we're not going to do this. Okay, they went to Parlophone, which was part of EMI. EMI's arm is Capitol Records.
So they had the songs recorded in Britain, and then they had the master tapes shipped over to have them printed, have the records pressed in America on these labels?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And they made a leasing agreement to do that, because what it was that our American disc jockeys here in Chicago, got these promo copies from VJ saying, who the fuck are the Beatles? Okay, but here you got Murray Decay in Philadelphia wearing a Beatles wig and playing their records from VJ in 1963. They haven't even been on television here yet, let alone anything. And nobody knew what the Beatles looked like, or who the Beatles were, not until the year later. And so we actually broke the Beatles in Chicago. We broke them here. Okay. And then from there,
I wish I had stayed broken.
Well, okay. But the thing is, a lot of people don't have the common knowledge
Don't let me hit my humor. I get it.
No, but there's the point of it. Yeah, no, I mean, but they all started like every other band started copying everybody else's fucking music,
Hence the British invasion.
And then, right. But you know what? A lot of people say that the Beatles were responsible for the British invasion. I hate to tell you, no, they weren't.
Yeah, well.
No, they weren't.
Let me tell you something. And I know this is the second week in a row we're having this conversation, so
okay.
I'm gonna keep it short, because we did talk about this last week too.
That's fine.
But what I found amusing about the conversation is just, I swear to God, some of the conversation from some people was really like, dear white people, do you understand some things? Like, I literally had somebody try to explain to me, well, they weren't getting on the radio stations like the Beatles were. Yeah, they weren't allowed to.
You're right.
It's like, what do you?
And but see, they're trying to go after. Well, if it wasn't for the Beatles, the rest of these artists wouldn't have gotten out there. That's not true.
Well, I'll give them the sales numbers. Okay, I will give them that.
Yeah, if you want to go on that track, yes.
Right, but here's the part I laugh about. Like, somebody gave me crap because somebody said they're the most influential band in the in all bands. I'm like,
no.
I'm like,
no.
I could, and let me go down this road. Okay. So when you think about where we are today,
right,
in terms of how much we're all about the videos and how much we are about like dance involved and incorporated, I can make a real argument that based on what we saw from Michael Jackson, which is kind of what video kind of turned into for a while, and was really what kind of spurred on MTV. Well, where did he get that from? Well, from the Jackson 5. Where did Jackson 5 get that from? The Temptations.
Right.
Okay, well, I could sit there and make the argument that the Temptations are then one of the most, are equally as important as the Beatles, given what we see today in terms of what's out there. And that was like, oh, you can't do that. They don't even play instruments. When does the band
No. And the person that said, no, they don't play instruments, that's not true. They do.
I wasn't even going to get into that. It's like
they do.
Well, they don't play instruments on stage, but they play instruments when they do the writing and collaborating.
Well,
they do all of this stuff. I mean, they were all trained. I mean, their father was a musician. They were all trained by Joe Jackson.
Well, not just we're talking about the Temptations, not the Jackson 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, the Temptations. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The Temptations. No,
they were singers.
They were singers.
I mean, no offense. If the Beatles had the Motown band, you think they'd have played instruments? No.
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 No, not at all.
Right. They wouldn't have played instruments either. That's why.
No.
And it's like when oh well, you got to play instruments to be a band. Okay.
Not really.
My favorite was my buddy John Browning, right?
Yeah.
So John's a huge Beatles fan, and I was teasing about it. And so he's like, "There's not a he says there's not a genre that the Beatles couldn't do." And I'm like, "How about klezmer? How about klezmer?
How about country? How about
Rocky Raccoon?
Watch.
What?
No, that
Rocky Raccoon.
Nah, that's not quite country.
My favorite is John sat there and tried to.
You could listen if you watched the Get Back documentary, you'd see they were doing like country pastiches of Two of Us and blues versions of Love Me Do.
I always thought that was more folky than anything.
But they're going to claim it.
Well, if they want to claim it, go right ahead. I mean, if you want to pick up the shit, anybody can do that.
Like I said, I can't, the part I laugh about is I just came to a conclusion. It's like you can't have a real conversation with some of these people who are really, really like it's the Beatles or nothing. You can't. And by the way,
you're talking about the dyed-in-the-wool Beatles lovers. Yeah.
Well, it's not just the dyed-in-the-wool Beatles lovers. It really is like, okay, if you are I mean, I hate to be this way. If you are a boomer, or you are about rock, or you are some sort of music critic, or some sort of I hate to say snob. Yeah.
Right. No. But you're right though.
The greatest thing ever was the Beatles, and that's and you can't tell them any different, and they aren't willing to have the conversation. And my favorite part of the conversation is, well, who's better? Why do I have to tell you who's better? I don't understand where that logic comes from. Not to mention the fact it's music. Why are we trying to basically categorize music all in one category? I don't even think that's possible. If you want to sit there and say
that's
the
impossible.
Beatles are great, if you want to say the Beatles are great for their classification and era, absolutely, I'm all good with that. But
Me too.
To sit there and say they're the greatest of all time, okay. All right. So what does that do for? I mean, I'm just again now I'm being a jerk. It's like, okay, so we're saying they're better than the Boston Pops.
No, because the Boston Pops have their own sensibilities and their own people and their own music.
Like I said, I'm just making the point. It's like you can. We're talking all time. You're talking all time. You're talking the greatest of all time. And the way they want to talk about over any genre, it's like no, you can't do that. No way. No,
it's not possible, Jeff. It's not possible.
No, you and I agree. We're on the same team on this. This is why I laugh about it.
I'm getting a little echo on your end, Jeff.
Am I? Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not my end.
But the thing is, you got those people that are you could sit there and tell them till you're blue in the face that the Beatles, are who they are, and you'll never get an inch out of these types of people. I mean, that's just all there is. And you know what? It's like a lot of people who are, they got their faves. They got they're die hard with this. They've got every cotton picking thing, every last record, every last whatever the fuck they put out there. And yeah, you can't tell them any different. But yet, you go ahead and tell these people, oh yeah, the Beatles? Oh yeah, well they were a cover band once.
Well, I was because...
Oh my God! Oh,
yeah, well, when they cut their teeth, back in the 50s.
Yeah, and then of course on top
because
of that,
the songs they wrote were shit back then.
Well, yeah, they were crappy,
Everyone's got to start somewhere,
right? And then here it is. You're gonna sit there and say, you got the, oh well, I don't understand. There's no black influence in the Beatles. Hell yeah, there is.
Shit, yeah, there is.
There's hell yeah. Or you ask them, well, that they did have a life before they got here. No, really, yeah. Unfortunately, it was filled with dismay, being broke, and
hitchhiking across Europe.
Literally playing in brothels and prostitute dens and holes. And then, of course, a place called the Cavern, which, of course, before Brian Epstein got a hold of them, they were pleasing crowds with George Harrison running around with a toilet seat around his neck.
Oh, so were they Blink 182? What?
I got the reference.
Yep.
So
I seem to be echoing on Ivan's end for some strange reason. I don't know why.
Okay, are you better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
No, I can still hear myself coming through you.
Okay.
I don't know why. That's weird.
All right. Okay, is it better now?
Maybe I should turn down maybe this is the problem. Hold on, let's try that.
Okay, try that. Okay, good?
Okay, well, let's see if that'll work.
All right.
Does that work, Mike?
That sounds better.
All right,
okay,
that's
I
good.
had to lower my volume.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, all right.
So there was that. And then, last night I happened to be popping around in Clubhouse, and lo and behold, they're doing a room is Jesse Ventura, the governor, with his son.
The former governor of Minnesota.
The former
and
governor
of course,
of Minnesota.
The actor and wrestler and superstar.
Interesting.
So I popped in, and there was a lot of talk about politics, but I was like, he seems to be willing to answer anything. So I raised I raised my hand, and I'm like, all right, I'll raise my hand. I'll probably never get on stage. Nope, they bring me on stage. So there I am.
Surprise.
It's me. Well, like a room like that of that size.
How many people were in this room?
I was surprised there were a little bit less than I thought it was. I mean, maybe there were about 60 in the room, but I figured there had to be more people in the queue wanting to ask Jesse questions. And so it was funny because I raised my hand, and I expected to be like, okay, this will take forever. I'll never get picked. I was literally thinking about leaving the room, and all of a sudden it's like, we're inviting you on stage. I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. So
okay, keep on talking. Pardon me for a moment.
No, that's
what
fine.
was your question for Jesse?
So the first thing I asked him about, because I was curious about, given Jesse's history, and I know he at one point tried to work on unionizing the WWE. I asked him about what it would take to what do you think it would take to unionize today with today's wrestlers? And he's like, I just don't. I was surprised how little he's paying attention to what's going on in the business, but I guess I shouldn't be shocked because he's got so much other shit going on. Like, I had to tell him about.
It was just so unfortunate how he had to. What the wrestling industry did to him. So maybe just kind of bitter about it. He doesn't care anymore.
Well, it's not so much that what the wrestling. I mean, it's double edged because there's a part of it where Jesse kind of. You're right. Jesse kind of walked away, and at the same time, Jesse walked away, and in some ways, Jesse got the last laugh. And the other part is he did sue Vince McMahon, and at one point that was a problem. Jesse fought for his likeness and rights because Jesse was sitting there going, "You should pay me for every time you make a doll, every time you put me on TV, every time you're selling a DVD, all this stuff." Ironically, a lot of the royalties that wrestlers are getting today are because of Jesse Ventura, and that's what. And Jesse was on the outs with the WWE. And then Jesse became governor. And suddenly it was Jesse, buddy. And so there was a little bit of a relationship again. But as usual, Jesse and Vince just don't. Yeah. You get the idea. But so I asked him about that. And then I did ask him about if he had any good Macho Man stories. He didn't really. But he did say the greatest match he ever saw was the WrestleMania 3 match between Steamboat and Savage.
And Savage, and I saw that live.
Right.
WrestleMania 3.
So I said to him,
it was a great intercontinental match.
Right. So I asked him, I'm like, so what was it like to call a match like that? And this is where it got interesting. He claims he didn't know anything about what was going to happen, what the spots were, or what the finish was going to be. Not one. Which, in this day and age, seems amazing. So basically, he called it as if it was like a regular sporting event. Which means that, like, Vince wasn't in his ear every 5 minutes telling him what to say, telling him what to do, and allowing him to do his thing. And he had no idea. Just like he had, like, when he talked about it, he's like, I had, like, when that near fall happened on Hogan with Andre, he's like, I had no idea. I thought legitimately we were going to get a new champion. So he was not in on any of that before they went out there, supposedly. He claims, and it was funny, his son was even like, really? And he's like, yeah, really, seriously. He's like, I called it as I saw it. I didn't sit there. I didn't know a lot of this stuff. He's like, the exception was TV tapings. He kind of knew who was going to win. He kind of knew who was going to lose. But, yeah, it was pretty cool. That's I'll tell you, that's one of the cool things about Clubhouse is you never know where who's going to pop up and what kind of room and that you can run into. And it's like, man, I didn't expect to be able to have a conversation with Jesse Ventura. Freaking amazing.
I saw Ivan did a little, I was busy earlier this afternoon, but I saw Ivan did a little music stint here on Clubhouse.
Yep.
Well, that's good.
I saw that, but yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. I did watch Succession again. It's funny, a friend of mine asked me, it's like, if it's hard to find the character was likable, why are you still watching the show? And I'm like, well, first of all, there's only one episode left in the season. And in fairness, the first couple seasons were a little bit funnier, and there were a few more characters that were likable, and there were some things that happened in season 2 that, you saw some patterns look like they were going to be broken. And the problem is that it's really getting clear that it's like, it seems like this is going to be continually the same issue over and over again, where it's just going to be a carousel of shit. And if that's really the case about where they're going with this show, then yeah, I don't know how much longer I'll watch it.
Okay, so depending on the season finale, you don't know if we're going to be back for the next season?
Here's the thing. The conversation I was having with Ivan, my guess is I'll probably see something in the season finale that will make me sit there and go, all right, absolutely, I'm willing to give it a shot in the beginning of season 4. I mean, the thing is this. While I'll say all these things, there's some really great. It's a really well written show. It's interesting. It's smart. It makes you think, and they do a great job with putting it together. And the acting is very, very good. And so it's one of those things where the headache at this point, Mike, is that we're kind of running through the same patterns over and over again. It's kind of interesting. It's really got a similar issue that Yellowstone has, whereas, okay, who's going to be in charge? At one point, Yellowstone was about who's going to be in charge of the ranch at the end of the day. Or what happens with the ranch at the end of the day, and who's going to be in charge when John's gone. There's a little bit of a similar feel in Succession. The only difference is that, well, I shouldn't say that. The kids are equally fucked up there. In Succession, the difference is that they're a little bit more under thumb. And, they're a little bit more fucked up in their different ways. Season 1 was all about the ascension of Kendall. Season 2 was about Shiv. Season 3 looks to be about Roman. Well, okay. All 3 kids are kind of there. There's only one other kid, and he really hasn't been, like, a focal point for that. I don't know. We'll see. It's a good show. I did catch the first episode of Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah, I have family members who watched it, and they loved it.
I watched the first episode. I'm going to give it another episode because of who's in it and I get what they like, and I get why people like it, and it's.
It seems like a bit of that awkward humor, sort of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, kind of.
It just wasn't. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's too much hype.
Yeah.
It's one of those times where it's like you hear about something, everybody's like, "Oh, it's crazy! It's amazing," and I'm like watching it, and I'm like, "This is good." I don't know if I want to call it great. Like I said, I'll give it probably another shot.
Yeah, just keep watching and see what you think.
I'm trying to think of anything
Give it
else.
one or two more.
Yeah, I don't think I got anything else this week. At least at the moment. So, I don't know what Ivan's got going on or if he's busy.
Ivan, you back? No, Ivan's not back.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay, you're here? Okay, so how was your week, Ivan?
Well, let's see. Okay, Sunday had a real good session on Natalie Harrison's Wide Awake Club, and that was nice. That was an English page that I got invited over. It was one of two things I did on Sunday. The second thing was I was at Logan Arcade, and I was doing Mundo 80s, which was really good. I mean, I was really happy as how, that whole set came out, and I made some nice coin that night, so that was good. I was on, and then of course the Friday, Sunday, well, the Friday previous, I was at Cafe Mustache, and I did something that I hadn't done before, and I went out with a completely different format of music, and so for the first from 9 to 12, the first 3 hours, I basically went to my roots and I played all Spanish music for the first 3 hours of the set to a happy crowd, to a crowd that actually got bigger as the time went on. And I was very surprised how everybody really enjoyed, the salsas, the merengues, the cha-cha-chas, the rumbas, the sambas, and all manner of different, Spanish music that I was playing. And then after midnight hit, then I swung out with a few, selected Christmas singles via the earning the $20, but not playing Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas. But I did give her Christmas songs, and at least I don't feel bad about it. And then I swung from there to an all-out Northern Soul set, which that just brought the house down. I was at capacity Friday over at Cafe Mustache. That was real exciting. I was real happy.
Good.
But, I had a funny thing happen just a second. I had a real funny thing happen. I was up on stage, and all of a sudden I start getting the bends. It's like, have you ever had like a cramp on your side, a Charlie horse that just wouldn't go away until you kind of held your arm up and, stuff like that kind of hurt you, and then you do that and it goes away.
You mean just like muscle cramps?
Yeah, like muscle cramps. I'm
okay.
Thinking, oh my God, what the hell's going on? I'm smiling, trying to keep,
Yeah. I get those in my sleep. I get Charlie horses like in my leg.
Yeah.
Like I'll wake up one morning I woke up to a Charlie horse.
Ouch, those suck.
So anyway, how did you handle this?
So I'm sitting there, just trying real hard, walking around, I'm dancing around, and everybody's like, "Look, Ivan, he's dancing, yay!" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying to keep myself from getting stiff." So, and then I was trying to figure out, why do I got these cramps? And then it occurred to me, Ivan got up today, and what did he have for cereal? But he had Raisin Bran. Did he have one bowl of Raisin Bran? No. He has 2 bowls of Raisin Bran. And I've discovered that I guess I ate too much bran in my diet and basically kind of put my large intestinal tract through its paces. Because after I got home and, and just let loose, and I'm just like, oh my God, okay, so this is what this is. I thought something was happening, and then after I thought it through, I'm like, okay, it's not as bad as it looks. Good. But the other unfortunate thing that happened during my set on Friday was that Julie's mom passed away Friday night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And yeah, she was She was due to get surgery for her carotid arteries, the Thursday that was coming up, but unfortunately, once they did the diagnosis, not long after she had passed, and so I have a wake and a funeral later this week to go to, but it was just strange, how you don't think about it, and then these things kind of come up. And so Julie's been in Indiana for a while. We had a pretty good scare with Otis. He's doing good now. In fact, he's actually starting to pack on the pounds again. After his little near-death experience, and having been in the hospital during Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right.
And everything. So yeah, he's doing better. I give him a probiotic every day, and he's doing fine. I'm sitting here bouncing around with the idea about doing a GoFundMe so I could actually get the money that I still owe the veterinarian to. So yeah, and it's a huge amount of money that unfortunately, I pretty much tapped out all of my resources and everything. So I'm just, piecemealing from here. I hope they'll be happy with it. It's better than anything I could do. Got my keys to my new apartment. Yay!
When do you start moving in?
Okay, well, the apartment's mine now, so I'm moving it all out now.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to be completely moved in by January 1st. The landlord was nice enough to give me the following, 20 plus days now here to move all my stuff out, easily and, nicely, not having to feel like I'm rushed and everything. So that was really nice of cast management and Louis Patros to do. Thank you so much for that, guys. And now it's just getting the muscle and getting the transportation together and getting everything up and ready. I saw the apartment, 2.5 rooms, beautiful, beautiful place. Big kitchen, much bigger than the kitchen I have here. Bedrooms, they're about the same size as the bedrooms I have here, but nice bathroom. It's got storage. It's fantastic. It's just beautiful. And then it's only 11 steps to get from the main floor to the first floor, which is awesome. It's got a backyard. So I'm already dreaming about, what I'm going to do back there, when, summer comes back around, work the garden, maybe do some things back there, make it nice,
Okay, just grow the legal plants, Ivan.
Oh, no, I'm going to grow the legal plants, of course. No, I'm not going to. Well, see, the only problem, I can't do that because landlord, might not take kindly to that.
No.
But they are in the know of my medicinal situation, and they're okay with it, so it's all right. And as far as everything else, everything's just kind of rolling along. Just getting the last few shows in on Facebook Live, and I did my last show on Twitch Wednesday last week on the 1st.
I see you did a Clubhouse show earlier.
Yes, I did. I did do a Clubhouse. It was a maiden voyage because I wanted to test my connections, which right now, as you hear, have become very successful because now not only can I talk to you from the board, I can listen through the board while you guys are talking without having to have the phone up to my ear or to a set of headphones anymore, which this is much more. This is much
you
easier.
Sound like you're on NPR, Ivan.
Yeah, and so that's
fancy dancy.
Yeah, and it's with all my old junk, I got no fancy. My microphone on the stand here is like one of those $10 jobbers, and my mixing board is something I got from Radio Shit. And let me see, my monitor speakers are secondhand, and just tinkering.
You said you had a movie experience this week?
Yes, I did. Well, not necessarily a movie experience, but something I saw on the internet that really piqued my interest, because you guys know I'm huge into Betty Boop, right? And all the older cartoons from Fleischer Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Fleischer Studios was at was at the last convention and everything, and they had a bunch of merch and a bunch of stuff. They showed the the remastered Comicolor classic, Cinderella with Betty Boop in there, which looks beautiful. They did a wonderful job with it. Well, you guys familiar with an actress named Rose McGowan?
Yeah, she's made news about, mostly political news. I think she was the whole thing about the Me Too movement.
I'm sorry?
Isn't that Rose McGowan?
Well, I don't know. Okay, well, the Rose McGowan, I'm talking about the actress Rose McGowan. And she's actually involved in a movie about Betty Boop. They're bringing Betty Boop to life on the screen. It's going to be a live action movie. They already put out a promotion about it already, and Rose McGowan is playing Betty Boop.
Okay.
And I'm excited about that, and it's neat because and it's not a factual movie. It's total camp. It's total, it's total imagination. It's puffery, but it looks like it's gonna be a delightful little romp through nostalgia and such of the 1920s and 30s, and they have the Fleischer Studio feuding with the Disney studio. So actually Walt Disney, or a character playing Walt Disney, is going to be in this movie. A character playing Max Fleischer is going to be in this movie. I saw what they had in the rushes, and I was like, this looks like this could be really actually kind of good, and I'm kind of excited about that. The other movie I'm excited about is Sing number 2, which is going to open Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas, yeah.
I'm seeing it. I mean, I saw number 1. Me and Julie saw number 1. We fell in love with it. So it's like, wow, this is really going to be fucking cool, and I'm really actually excited. I saw the commercial that from Illumination they did.
Yeah, they did a Thanksgiving. I saw that a lot on Thanksgiving. They did a little maybe a 2-minute vignette where the mom is trying to get home and the car breaks down, so she stops at the theater and they sing the Christmas song and the kids are like, "Mom's on TV," and she's singing on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, the same stick they did in an extremely goofy movie, where old boy was bragging about being on stage with Powerline, and you're never going to be on Powerline until he accidentally, not only him but Goofy, his father, end up on stage with Powerline.
Right.
Same type of premise, but still great, and I liked what they're doing with it, and so I'm rather excited to see that too. So and then of course Spider-Man. I'm gonna see if I can catch up with that some kind of way too. So yeah, so I got some movies to go see.
Oh, good. Yeah, this was. Glad you had a good week, and you're.
If I look at IMDb, it does. According to this, that Boop movie looks like it's 10 years old.
The Betty Boop movie?
Yeah, it says Boop 2011.
With Rose McGowan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's weird.
Yeah, it says 2011 with
not
Rose McGowan, Billy Zane.
Billy Zane, geez, where's he been? Yeah, this is that's from a few years back, Ivan.
Yeah, this is like 10 years ago. There was a short recently that was done by Funny or Die, some sort of Betty Boop thing too. So maybe that's what you caught. I don't know.
Could very well be.
Yeah. So Tex Avery versus Max Fleischer versus Walt Disney. Who would win?
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ivan. What's for dinner? Okay.
Anyway, all right. You're talking 3 distinctive styles of animation.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Tex Avery, he's your screwball. Let's go ahead and spread it out to all limits of imagination when he did his animation. So, imagination for his animation. Okay, sorry. And Walt Disney, though, and of course, now I'm going to start a fire now. Most people think that Disney was responsible for Mickey Mouse. No, sorry, people. UBI Works was the one responsible for Mickey Mouse. Okay, sorry, folks. No.
So it's obviously, he's not going to get your vote. So you're going with Fleischer?
Well, Fleischer, if I had the toss up between of the two of them, okay, I would have to put my money on Fleischer and on Avery. Avery for style, and Fleischer for innovation, because he came out with all the really cool shit first. And a lot of people don't know that. I mean, a lot of people tend to dismiss the Fleischer production house because, well, it was cartoons for adults.
Yeah.
Adults.
I got to go with Tex Avery.
And,
Like when Tex Avery wasn't? Were you kidding with those bombshells? The redhead?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, yeah. That, funny that you should mention that. Did you know that the first 3,000 cells got stolen with Red Hot Riding Hood?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that story?
Oh, yeah. You told the story before.
Yeah. So, and it just came down to this. Yeah, no, I like Tex Avery for style, but like I said, but for innovation, my money's on Fleischer. But for presentation, I will give it to Disney.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
But, so we got some, well, see, Jeff and I watched the latest episode of Hawkeye and Yellowstone. We'll get into it in a bit. So we've got episode 3 of Hawkeye on Disney Plus. Oh, and Ivan, you been watching anything on Disney Plus? I know you've been busy, but it was only $2.
I haven't.
It's only $1, yeah, man.
No, I haven't got around it because I'm too busy, packing and moping and taking care of the cats. And of course, now with what just recently happened, well, a little less so now. But
okay.
With things being said, I'll get around to it.
It's there. It'll be there.
It'll be there when I get to it, when I get around to it. I mean, I know I've been wanting to do this for months, trying to get back, trying to keep up with you guys, but,
Okay.
But anyway, aside from that,
so yeah, we're
I got a couple more shows coming up this weekend. Going to be at Coles, COLES, and going to be doing a session there. Then I'm back at Logan Arcade the following week for Sweet Soulful Sunday, and I got in touch with I got in touch through my sister Allison. I guess there's going to be a pop-up at Logan Arcade, to put some weight on it, for the, Electric Jungle guys, John and all them. I guess they're going to be over there selling records on my shift on Sunday. So I'm just like, oh, okay, great. So I guess there's going to be a pop-up this on the 19th, so if you want to come pick up some bargain records, some last-minute ideas, come down to Logan Arcade, 2410 West Fullerton in Chicago. The doors open at 3. We'll be open till 2. Sunday, December 19th. If you want to get your last-minute, record binge or, present or whatever it is that turns you on musically, they'll have a whole lot of things there. We got Fry Like an Eagle, our vegetarian restaurant, which serves up great, dogs and fries and all manner of wonderful things, vegan, food. And,
vegan, wait a minute, vegan hot dogs?
Yes.
Pass.
Yeah.
Probably pass too.
Yeah.
Well, that's why
it's the impossible hot dog.
Well, that's why I don't eat it, because it's impossible. So,
it's just impossible.
I just can't eat this hot dog because it's just
impossible.
You thought you didn't know it was in hot dogs originally. Now it's impossible to know it's in.
Now it's a real
now you
mystery.
Don't know what the hell's in that hot dog. But anyway, and then and I'll be playing some sweet soulful tunes. I might even throw in some Christmas soul tunes, and everything, because I try to not put all the Christmas stuff up like I do every year, but it's good though. I mean, the 19th of December, folks, come check it out. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. So let's get into Hawkeye episode 3.
Sure.
We get the resolution and the setup of this Maya character, whose father was killed by Ronin during the blip.
Better known as Echo.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Gecko?
Echo.
No, she's not selling. She's not selling card shirts.
The Gecko. I think there is a superhero known as the Gecko. I can't remember who is that like a Tick character?
Because they don't. Deflator Mouse and Gecko.
Something like that.
Deflator Mouse.
But did they even name drop Echo in this episode?
I don't think they do.
No, they don't. Because I just know where's Maya.
Like they keep hinting about her uncle.
I
don't know if you're aware of who her uncle is.
Echo?
Echo's uncle. No, I don't. Would that be Kingpin?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
Which has everybody excited because it sounds like the Kingpin's coming to the MCU.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
And episode 3, we deal with a lot of hearing issues because obviously Maya's born deaf, or at least she grows up deaf and without a leg, but she's still a martial arts expert and can kill you if she wants to, very in multiple ways. And we deal with Hawkeye not being able to hear what Kate Bishop is telling him, and there's a good dynamic in that through the course of the episode. But I'm glad it's resolved. You know, they go somewhere to get the hearing aid fixed, and how about the dynamic between her and Hawkeye? How she says he relies on technology for his hearing loss, but he seems like really deaf. Not just for Hawkeye in.
He's not mildly deaf. He's really deaf.
Yeah, he's really deaf. Without that hearing aid, he's done.
Wow, that's
Yeah, we talked about blurred images. Now we're talking about blurred hearing.
Yeah, blurred hearing by the Armish.
Blurred line.
And I don't know about this Track Street Mafia. These silly thugs.
Silly thugs.
I mean, we do get a cool chase sequence, so the payoff is decent in that regard in this episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did enjoy the chase thing, which was not this arrow, not that arrow. Don't use this arrow.
Yeah, that's the one that least the trick arrows with all the
It's like it's like there are more dangerous arrows than this one.
Yeah,
that was like, or like, why do you have a plunger arrow? What could that possibly be good for? Then later they have to use the plunger arrow, and she's like, that makes much more sense.
Yeah.
Plunger arrow, yeah, okay.
Yeah, all the trick arrows that Hawkeye has in his.
He kind of sounds like a makeshift MacGyver over here.
Well, he's from the Avengers.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Hawkeye.
I know.
Yeah, Hawkeye. You know Hawkeye, Evan? Okay. A great callback.
Not the
to
one
how
from
she's,
MASH.
Yeah.
No, not the one from MASH. Yeah. Come on.
Or the one from The Last of the Mohicans.
No, not that boomer either.
Or sooner.
And we get a great callback to the original Suit when they're in the diner having breakfast, and
that was funny.
Yeah, that's great. It's
hanging out with Gecko.
Leading up to leading up to Endgame, I was posting screenshots of the old cartoon of the old comic, and this the first appearance of Hawkeye. I'm like, yeah, the H stands for hello.
Yikes.
It's like, yeah, not happening. Yeah, that was great. And we get a name for the dog, which is just Pizza Dog. So
yes, apparently I will say they're using quite a bit from some of the recent comics of Hawkeye, which is Pizza Dog and the Tracksuit Mafia. All of that is kind of more current.
From recent stories, okay.
Straight from comics. So I will give them credit.
I hope they give the writers credit. I don't think they are. I don't know if they're getting paid a lot, but
Matt Fraction's getting credited continually.
Okay.
I see his name, and I know Matt Fraction wrote a lot of that stuff. So, my headache with Maya is just that I don't think I knew her backstory that well as other people do.
Well, at least they summed it up in a montage, and that was enough for the viewing audience like me who don't know.
Right, but I was really confused because my first introduction to that character was back when Bendis took over the Avengers, and at one point she's in the Avengers. It's her and Hawkeye as Ronin, and they show up to help the Avengers. I think they were fighting the Hand or something like that. But so that's where I'm kind of confused. I'm like, wait, she's a good guy. I don't get this. So I was not aware at one point she wasn't. So that was interesting. The other thing I don't know about you, Mike. One thing I find interesting about these episodes is I feel like they're just getting into something interesting, and then it's like, and the episode's over. And it's like,
oh yeah, right when they go back to her mother's apartment where they're going to hack into and try and find out information about these dudes and what else they were looking for at this auction. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, who's hiding out in the apartment? It's, what's his name?
Swordsman.
The Swordsman. And he's got the Ronin sword.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, and then cut, roll credits. Yeah.
Right. They've been doing a lot of that where it's like the interesting stuff seems to happen. And I think it's funny. There's not too many more episodes left. There's only 3 episodes left.
Well, you gotta will Clint Barton get home in time for Christmas?
Right. Well, here's the other interesting question. This is the question we're all asking now is, are we getting the Kingpin?
Yeah.
Are we going to get a Kingpin sighting? Because we certainly seem like we're going down that route.
Yeah.
And given the news this week, given the news that just came out about that our Daredevil is Charlie Cox.
From the Netflix series.
Right. And we know that Charlie Cox is in the Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
And, we know Vincent D'Onofrio has multiple times been like, I would love to come back and play the Kingpin some more. Maybe this is, maybe we get him here. That would be quite the surprise.
Oh, turn the lights.
So next week is, just later this week is episode 4 already. Jesus, coming up.
Yeah. Thoughts on Yellowstone, Mike?
Still a lot of pots on the stove, a lot of things simmering. A couple things are coming to a head. The hippie girlfriend, I guess we'd call it a fling, I guess.
Yeah.
But John took his daughter's advice, but he made the unfortunate mistake of having his daughter meet her. And that went over quite terribly.
It went over like a lead balloon.
It went over quite terribly.
Which is too bad, because I would love to have seen a lesbo scene between those two characters, but we won't get into that.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I like to see a lesbo scene in anything.
Well, no, with these particular women, they're gorgeous, sir, absolutely.
Yeah, they're good-looking girls, yeah. And of course, John's best line of best exchange though is, "I'm getting too old for this," and Beth says, "You're not getting too old for some of it."
Yeah, really.
So, it's like, yeah, hope you die of cancer of the ass. Like, okay, then we're done. We're out. And she asks the chef's like, "What's gluten?" Yeah. So we got that. The girlfriend. I don't think we're going to see her again. We'll see if she comes back or whatever. If there's still she's going to do more protesting.
She is, and that's what's her name, Piper Peabro. So that's a pretty good get for them as for casting for something that seems like a guest spot. For a few episodes. I think she's reoccurring. I don't know all the details on it, but we'll see.
So Casey got himself a new house. Helped to patch up the marriage because of the whole post-traumatic stress from the raid on the ranch. And
that's good that Casey's doing well, especially after the Sunshine Band and everything. You would think that he.
Okay, it's time to mute Ivan's microphone. No, not that Casey, Ivan.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Eat your potato salad. Eat your potato soup or whatever you're eating.
Maybe on the reservation there's
I'm done. I've moved on to the marshmallows. Want a marshmallow?
No, Ivan, do not want a marshmallow.
Okay.
So, what else? Lloyd is in the shit house again.
Yep.
Does he get diarrhea?
No, he's causing trouble on it. He's been on this. I said this. The whole thing with him and what's his name? Rip is his name.
Well, yeah.
Or is it Walker or Rip? Well, Rip is
Rip.
one thing, but I know the other guy is.
No, the other guy, the girlfriend now, with the girls in girls out of the ranch because it caused too much, much tension, and they they settled it. They put him in the stay, wherever, and they fenced him in and said, settle it, and they did. So, but geez, I mean, when she pulls that knife out, it's like, oh god, I felt that.
Yeah, that was.
It's like, that's how James Irwin died. Had he left the barb in from the stingray, he'd have lived. They might have gotten medical attention fast enough, but she pulled the knife out. But luckily, he was there to suture up the chest wound. Otherwise, that dude would have bled out right then and there.
Yeah, damn dogs and those kids of them,
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting about them kicking the girls out, especially because don't some of them have the Yellowstone brand?
I presume.
I mean, I know
Maybe.
Tweeter does, and supposedly once you've been branded, you're Yellowstone for
just
life, right?
And there was the chick with the pink hair. She had nothing to do with this.
About.
Yeah.
Right, but supposedly she's been they put the brand on her, so it's like. I'm confused. If she's Yellowstone for life, how can you kick her? Okay, I don't. Yeah.
Skin graft. I don't know.
I get. Well, I don't mean that way.
Well, you can't remove such things nowadays.
Yeah, this is a brand.
Yeah,
this is like a branding. This
burned into the flesh. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like taking a brand in.
Right, like branding an animal.
Exactly.
Yep. Yes.
What else? The whole issue with Jamie's dad, who did, was predictable enough, and the scene was predictable enough that, Jamie pulled the gun on his dad, and we knew he wasn't going to shoot him, and just convinced him that okay, then,
Well, and the worst part is that he's gonna. I kind of have an idea where the writers' room's already going with this, which is they're just gonna make it where, okay, he's gonna basically sit there and go, okay. Beth is never going to stop, so I'm going to take. And since they all love Beth,
unstoppable force meets immovable object.
Right. So if that's where, and quite frankly, I think his thought process. Unfortunately, will go to, since there's nothing I can do about Beth, and since I'm not really legitimately one of the kids. Yeah, I'm going to take the other side, even though he shouldn't.
And he's going to side with his father eventually, which is going to be probably hazardous to his health in the long run.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing would be is if at some point he comes to his senses or something.
Yeah, I still feel like Casey and John are going to follow up with Jamie about this dude in prison who did, the Indians tipped him off about this dude is sitting in prison, and yes, he did order the hit on the Duttons.
Yeah, the problem again and the irony is again, it goes back to, Jamie seems like he's going to do the right thing. He can do the right thing, but it doesn't really matter because no matter what happens, Beth is going to treat him like grade A dog shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And taint everything. So, suddenly he may have the thought process of, hey, you know what? Guess what? Yeah, maybe I am better off with the Duttons all being gone. Unfortunate, kind of dumb. I think the only saving grace he's got is that, him and Casey have a decent relationship, and that might save his butt here. But the problem is that at some point, the other two have got to sit there and look at Beth and go, hey, shut up. And I don't think that happens.
Yeah. She's a loose cannon, indeed. And then we're back to Jimmy on the ranch and learning to be a cowboy and spending a whole day on a saddle, and he's saddle sore and learning a rope. He's like, got to learn the rope. It's the only tool we got.
Rolling,
how much of it is saddle sore?
Yes, my ass is swollen. Yep. Rolling.
How much of it is that, though, versus the injuries, I wonder?
That, too, yeah. He hasn't fully healed from his injury. Mm-hmm. And of course, now his ex-girlfriend's gone, so... Yeah. If he's ever going to, maybe not ever write a letter, and now, she's done, so, which was predictable enough.
Well, yeah, she talked about she was going to leave, so.
Yeah. She was bad news. Should have never got on that horse.
Boom.
And what else? There's, like I said, there's lots of pot stirring, and Beth saying something about making it official, getting married, and going away somewhere. She's feeling the what do you call it? The wanderlust of getting away from the ranch. And what it's like, just like what John said in an earlier episode. Why do all my kids have to leave to find happiness? And even Beth is feeling that, you know. Although fiercely loyal to John, she's still, and the bitch that she is, she still wants to. She says, I want to go for a ride," and maybe she wants to be done with it in a way.
Why leave your old friends to go get new friends?
It's not about friends, because she don't have many.
Yeah. Friends? That woman don't have no friends.
No.
I see.
So, yeah, it's good, and it's now maybe things finally coming to a head.
And apparently the boy wants to be ripped, which is a really bad idea. But okay.
Okay.
No, he says he wants to be John.
Oh, I thought it was Rip.
Yeah, because like John walks off of this, I want to know who I want to grow up to be. I want to be him. About like the man in charge, the guy who has, you know, all he has to do is just ask a question, and he, you know, commands obedience. So, so yeah, that was John he was referring to, the boy.
Boy John.
So yeah, good episode, and of course really short. And we got another teaser for 1883, which is coming the 19th. So I'm looking forward to that.
I was going to say, you have Paramount, so you're going to get a chance to see it. I probably will not.
Yeah, I'll see it. Have you tried any of the Mayor of Kingstown with Jeremy Renner?
No, I taped it and I have not looked at it.
Okay. Yeah,
I taped the one that was after it, but I haven't really looked at it yet.
Okay. All right, so got some news bits to talk about?
Yeah, well, I mean, we mentioned earlier, so it looks like Charlie Cox is in as the new Daredevil, or the same Daredevil.
The MCU Daredevil, yeah.
The MCU Daredevil. I don't know what that means for other characters, or
if we're going to get any other Defenders.
Right, or any other Netflix folks, or if the Netflix stuff is even canon, or how that's going to work, we don't know.
Yeah.
If they got any money to actually make the thing.
They do. I mean, they certainly do, because it's Marvel. You know,
it's Disney.
They're going to have It's Disney. You know, unlike, you know, they seem to have figured out the problem from Netflix, which was, you know, that they basically have figured out how to build everything within all the universe to make it work better a little bit. In fairness, some of that was political. I mean, some of that has to do with the infighting within Marvel as a company as a whole. And it's unfortunate because Jeff Loeb was involved with the Netflix stuff. And that was supposed to be more involved within the MCU as a whole. And then there was a lot of political backbiting with all that. And so those shows seem to kind of become their own thing are like, oh yeah, they're part of the MCU, but not really. So it's unfortunate.
Just like really Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, it was just kind of like off to the side, kind of meh.
Right, and that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fell into that problem too, because of the fact that it was a political thing. It became more about, unfortunately, Jeff Loeb was on the wrong part of who was in charge of what and how that fell out. And it's funny because we haven't. You know, I don't know when Loeb's agreement ends with Marvel in terms of exclusivity or anything like that. Not that he has anything to prove, and I'm sure he's got a boatload of money, but I'm surprised we haven't seen him around lately. That he hasn't come out with any announcements or any new projects, whether it be TV or comics. But, you know, that's unfortunate because Jeff Loeb's done some amazing work and over both companies and with TV. So, you know, it'd be nice to see him back, and I hope he gets to get some more work involved. As a matter of fact, you mentioned The Long Halloween. The original book was Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, and
so
with the possibility of an animated multi-part Crisis.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed The Long Halloween, and at least the animated one. So sure, why not? Bring it on. See what
that's the other thing that got talked about is there's
because in that sense, I give that a pass for DC because it's its own self-contained unit. Even whether they did, with the exceptions of the few where I've read the books and then I watched the animated series and it diverges from it, like they did with Red Sun. At least the ending kind of diverged from the original ending. I'd give it a pass because it's just a self-contained, digestible unit.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the one thing that they're talking about is using some of the different pieces that they've created as part of that. In the infinite universes of different DC movies that they've made over the years from an animation perspective, which would be interesting, and give it a unique twist. I just hope that it doesn't end up like the CW verse one in any way, shape, or form. What else is out there? I guess I didn't realize this. I guess Colin Farrell is playing the Penguin in this new Batman movie.
What, the one with the sparkly vampire?
Yeah, the sparkly vampire.
Oh, okay.
So apparently they've greenlit an HBO Max series of the Penguin with Colin Farrell. So that's out there.
Oh, it takes place in the same universe as the Pattinverse.
I guess so.
Okay.
That's my understanding. Probably the biggest thing of the weekend was we got a Spider-Verse trailer.
Yeah, that dropped, what was it, on a Saturday afternoon or something?
Yeah, Saturday night.
Nice.
Saturday night.
Yeah, it looks great.
And apparently it's a part one. So that's kind of cool. I don't know.
We're going to have to wait 2 years for a part two.
Well, maybe. Who knows? It depends on how they're doing this. If they're making both movies at the same time, then maybe not.
Yeah, hopefully they won't have us wait more than a year.
But I think, they teased the 2099 Spider-Man, and there he
fighting
is in
Miles
the preview.
Morales. Yeah,
there he is in the previews, and the 2099 Spider-Man was always an interesting book and an interesting character. It just when Marvel tried to do the 2099 universe, it just never seemed to take off the way they would like it to.
Will you be sad if there's no Spider-Ham?
I kind of will.
Yeah, you kind of want Spider-Ham. Out of all the other Spider-Mans that come back, I mean, we can do without, like, Nicolas Cage and Spider-Noir and the Japanese one.
Yeah, I could do without the Japanese Spider-Man thing.
Penny Parker, was her name?
Something like that.
Yeah. I'm glad that Gwen's back. So Spider-Gwen,
Yep.
So yeah, that looks awesome. That was unexpected. That was awesome. So it looks great.
There's some sort of boys animated offshoot that's coming out.
And it's going to go to Amazon, just like the series?
Yeah, it's some animated thing called Diabolical. I don't know nearly enough about it, so I can't speak on it. Speaking of animated, so it looks like DC is greenlighting a Metal Man animated. And I guess it's being produced by the people who did like a whole lot of great animation, so good for them. That works.
Okay.
By the time this airs, I can say this now, but the final season of Expanse is this week. Season 6.
Are you up to date?
I am.
Okay.
My understanding is that there's only 6 episodes. I don't know how long they are, but there's only 6 episodes in the last season. I'm curious if they're coming out in a bunch or if they're going to come out once a week.
Once a week, yeah.
I hope not once a week. But then again, it depends how long they are.
Well, maybe it's just an hour.
If they're doing
I prefer
less
once a week.
episodes, they're probably going to be longer.
I prefer once a week.
So now I say something that Mike's not going to like.
What's that?
The Expanse is the best science fiction show. It's a better science fiction show today than anything Star Trek's putting out.
Yeah, I've been told I should check it out. I cannot pass judgment on it because I haven't watched it, but I've heard it's good. I have multiple friends who have watched it, including you. I'm like, I'll get around to it. I'm not.
The Expanse is everything that Expanse is a lot of stuff that Star Trek should be doing, but it's not.
No,
but it's not Star Trek.
No, now I have multiple episodes of season 4 Discovery sitting in the queue waiting for me, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not in a hurry. I'll.
That's unfortunate. I mean, seriously, and I don't mean that to like.
I mean, there's a couple of good characters on it, but the main character is not one of them, and that's unfortunate.
And I've noticed this too because it seems like this series is not written for the Star Trek fan who's been a longtime Star Trek fan. This series is written for Star Trek fans who they're trying to get new Star Trek fans.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
And that's unfortunate because really in reality I don't
But a show that is written for Star Trek fans is Lower Decks. And I know a lot of people who hate Lower Decks because they don't like the animated style or they don't like the type of humor. But I like the little Easter eggs in it, and the characters are interesting to me. And I enjoy it just for the entertainment value. I don't see any, real, it's canon or it's not canon or whatever. I just find it amusing, and I enjoy it on the surface. But if there's one show that I'm really looking forward to, and I've said it here multiple times, I'm just waiting on the Captain Pike show next year.
My understanding, I have somebody who's told me that the kids show, the Nickelodeon kids show,
Prodigy.
Yeah, I've heard
Prodigy. I've seen rushes on that. That seems interesting to me.
I know some people who watched it who are adults, and they've said it was good.
All right. That's another one I'm like,
Well, it caught my interest
Well, I found out Janeway was a hologram on the show. So.
That's kind of funny. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's one other thing I might check out.
Mike's having the same reaction I have when anybody talks about the Titans cartoon. Yeah, maybe I'll. No,
I did fall down a rabbit hole a few Young Justice ones episodes. And
what season are you in?
No, I'm nowhere. I'm just watching clips. Just jumping around.
Oh, okay.
I just like the one scene where they're recruiting, they're voting to bring new members in, and like one guy's like, should Captain Marvel stay a member because he lied about being a kid, and this exchange between Wonder Woman and Batman because Batman is for it and Wonder Woman's against it, and she's like, yeah, you would because you brought in Robin at the age of 9. But great exchange on that show. That is well written, actually, from the clip.
Yeah.
Young Justice is great. And that's one thing I'd really like to start. There's other shows I want to watch from the beginning, and I just don't have the time or patience for.
This season so far of Young Justice has been interesting. There's been 2 arcs so far. One has been on Mars, and it's been Beast Boy, Connor Kent, Superboy, and the Martian Man, and Miss Martian, and the Martian Manhunter's kind of in there, and Superman's kind of in there because Connor and Miss Martian are supposed to be getting married.
Okay.
And I don't want to spoil anything if you're planning on watching.
Yeah, I'm planning on it. Maybe I'll just jump into season 4, like I did with Yellowstone. I jumped into season 3, and there's things that are happening in season 1 and 2 that they're bringing up, but I haven't known about. Like the girl that Casey saw when they were asking about the missing horses? Was that chick that he was talking to? Was she from a previous episode?
Yeah, but I can't remember.
Okay.
I mean, it's been so long since I've watched the earlier seasons. I watched the earlier seasons. It's like, and I hate to say it, thanks to the pandemic, it's not like seasons were coming out regularly at a certain point. So, like, I've had the same problem with Succession a couple times where it's like, Oh yeah.
They're bringing up that one thing from 3 years ago now.
like for example, like at the end of the previous episode of Yellowstone, where the girl walks out with the baby, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that there's a baby, and and there was the other girl, and I forgot all about it because I was like, that's so not been a part of his character for a while, you know.
Yeah.
But the second arc of Young Justice this year is basically it's Cheshire, Artemis. It's ironically it's Batgirl, but it's more Cassandra Cain Batgirl.
Not Barbara Gordon.
Well, she's in it too.
But is she Oracle?
She's Oracle.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you now that the name they've given to Sandra Cain is Orphan, not Batgirl. But the outfit looks like her Batgirl outfit. And then I'm trying to think of who else is in that grouping. But that's the second story. It's like Cheshire and Orphan and Oracle, and you get the idea. And it's they're dealing with like Lady Shiva and Vandal Savage. So that's the other arc. And now I don't know where we're going in this last one. If there's anything in the next couple where we're going next. There's certain characters we haven't seen much of so far in season 4. We haven't seen a lot of Nightwing. We haven't seen a lot of, there's some other characters we haven't seen a lot of at all in this season. So we'll see. We'll see if we'll see if any of that changes.
Good. Have there been any other newsworthy tidbits to discuss?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't, I know I'm doing some gaming on Saturday.
Virtual?
So that. Yeah.
Still virtual?
Yep.
Is that your long-term plan, or you maybe like in the spring, maybe? You might start seeing going to actual events. C2E2 is this weekend.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah. You know anybody who's going?
Guests. There's some interesting guests.
Do you know anybody who's going?
Yeah. John Suntress is going.
Okay.
Suntress is going. He's going down there. And then, obviously, Art and Franco are going because they're going to be in Artist Alley. But, I don't know. It's funny. If I wasn't gaming, I'd consider it. But
I got to work this weekend.
I am gaming, and I'm like, I'd rather game. But I think Hayden Christensen is in town for it.
Wow. Please! Somebody needs to cosplay as Anik, as Jar Jar. Just follow him around.
That'd be hilarious. That would be kind of funny. That would be kind of funny. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's about it.
Okay.
So,
Ivan,
what about you?
Ivan's spinning. Are you spinning this weekend and next weekend?
I'm spinning this weekend.
I'm sorry, speak up.
Hold on, I'll be right there.
Get closer.
Is this good enough?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, great. Yeah.
You sound great, Ivan.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, it just brings everything together when
yes, it certainly does.
Sibilance.
So where are you playing this week?
Okay, I'm gonna be at
Syphilis.
Not syphilis.
Yeah, that'll blur your nipples.
Yeah, the Armish nipples. Smear the Armish nipples. Working over at Kohl's on Sunday, doing the 10 to 2 shift, and that 2663 North Milwaukee. Make your way on down for, a great dive bar experience, because that's what you're getting. And, let's see.
Will you be singing Syphilis? It even hurts the pit. Syphilis, it started with a simple kiss.
Syphilis isn't painless.
The Syphilis song.
Syphilis, it started with a simple kiss. Now it even hurts to piss. I believe in syphilis.
Syphilis. Every time I pee, it hurts me this.
Yeah, really.
Yes, I got myself some syphilis. Oh, how it burns. My syphilis. Grabbing the toilet tank while I pee and scream in pain.
See you next week, everybody.
I know when I pee, it just drives me insane. Syphilis.
Okay,
That's
the best Beatles song there is.
Huh?
That's the best Beatles song ever.
That's why I went with it.
From watching 3 days of the Beatles from Get Back, I started singing Let It Be as Cottage Cheese. Anyway, so Ivan, like I said, where were you this week?
Well, I'll be, like I said,
You're at Kohl's.
I'll be at Kohl's on Sundays, and I'll be
wear a sweater.
Friday. I'll be at Northern Soul Music Keep the Faith with John Bonham and his group of scallywags, miscreants, and inmates and stuff. We're gonna have us fun over there.
You'll fit right in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's 8 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be spending for Northern Soul Keep the Faith, and that'll be Friday. That'll be the 10th, I believe. And then I'm doing that, and then the following week, the 19th, I'll be at Logan Arcade and working my shift for Sweet Soulful Sunday, and then the Put Some Weight on It Electric Jungle record pop-up will be happening that day too. So come on down. 24th.
Could you imagine?
West
Could you imagine if you had to be a British artist and all you ever had to hear was how great that you'll never be as great as the Beatles?
That's why there's half the population over there than here. They've killed themselves off.
I wouldn't be shocked by that. That explains their humor too. But yeah.
So yeah. That being said, folks, John, Mike, where can they find us?
We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe, know when we got new content. Follow us on our Facebook page, Squares Round Table Podcast, as well as Ivan's, Jive and Ivan's Vibe Tribe. We got some little saucy over there. Download this show on your usual podcast hosting platforms, Google, Apple, Spotify, Anchor. And, of course, leave us a review on iTunes. We'd really like that, too, if you want. And,
please.
And email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com. Ivan is on twitch.tv at Java and Ivan. Jeff is everywhere at Steinamite Productions, Instagrams and the Twitters and everything.
And of course, doing some stuff on Clubhouse now too.
Now you can. Thanks for everyone who's popped in tonight to listen in on Clubhouse.
Please.
So Ivan's on Clubhouse in the Steinamite room as well. So stay tuned for that. Of course, follow us on Facebook. That's the easiest way to get hold of us. So with that, that's done. Episode 176.
176, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here.
And we got, one more episode for the end of 2021, right?
Yeah, unless you want to do a quickie on, like, the 20th or something, just to do a quick review of Spider-Man, if you're going to see it on the weekend.
Well, a quickie would not be a bad idea. I could do a quickie.
So maybe on the 20th we could do one more.
Let me see what it's going to look like. If not, we could do a pop-up room some other night or something. Maybe.
Yeah, or just, something I could just, a quick, like a year-end special or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's something we could do for that. I mean, I could do the Christmas show on Clubhouse, before the Squares of the Round Table, the one we do
what you like
year.
in the Steinamite room. So, that'd be great.
Not anything. But,
not anything.
Close.
Okay.
But Well, no, I'm not on visual. I got, so that don't mean nothing.
And now we will sacrifice this lying farm.
The Armish blurred nipples will return.
The
after
Armish
these
blurred
messages.
nipples will return.
See you next week.
I'm done.